Welcome to week number 4 of my Survivor review. Now, unfortunately, regrettably, I have to announce that this is it. This is the last week I'm doing this show. And the reason for that is because Chelsea, from Survivor, she saw my show last week, and she tweeted me, "You're effing hilarious." So where do I go from here? That's the top of the mountain. Everything else is just downhill. So I'm quitting while I'm on top, and I might even quit life and just sit on the couch and eat cupcakes or something. I don't know, I'll figure it out. But anyway, I want to thank anybody who supported this show, anybody who watched this show. That's it. That's it for this week. That's it forever. What? All right, is this on? Okay, as it turns out, Chelsea wasn't the only one who watched my show last week. Troyzan was also watching. And he actually posted a comment under the video on my YouTube page. And he said, and I quote, "I'm laughing my ass off. You're pretty damn funny, bro." So first of all, Troyzan, I just want to say, I'm sorry that you're not going to be able to sit down from here on out. But thanks for watching and thanks for the comment. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Christina from Survivor saw my show last week, and she said that it was the best recap she's seen so far, which just goes to show you that Christina is a very intelligent woman. So why should I stop there? I'm going to continue with the show until maybe I get an endorsement from Jeff Probst. So enough of this self-congratulatory BS, enough of this patting myself on the back. Let's get to the Survivor recap. So the episode starts out with the ladies actually doing pretty well for themselves. It looks like they've hit their stride, they're over the hump, they're just coming off of 2 wins at 2 different challenges, they've got enough food, things have kind of settled down at the ladies' camp. Then we check in with the men's tribe. And to be honest, I really didn't pay attention to what any of them were saying because I was horrified by what Leif was doing. Because apparently on Survivor One World, Leif is sleeping in a coffin every night. Or at least what appears to be a coffin. He's sleeping in that little box that they had for that DIY challenge that contained the knots that they had to untie. If I was on Leif's tribe, in the middle of the night when he's asleep, I'd grab his coffin and stick it in the middle of the jungle, just to see the look on his face when he wakes up. Or I'd take the coffin and stick it on the girls' canoe. Or I'd take his coffin and stick it in the girls' camp. Hey, you know, there's no internet, there's no TV on Survivor Island. You gotta make your own entertainment. So since the ladies are finally doing a little bit better for themselves, it's time for the guys to start mooching off of the girls. So Jonas Brother goes over to the ladies' camp and asks them if he can use the fishing net because he knows how to lay a fishing net. And by the looks of him, a fishing net might be the only thing that he knows how to lay. But none of this matters anyway because despite the guys offering to give the girls half the fish they catch with the net, the girls decline the offer. So then it's time for the reward challenge, and it's actually a Survivor version of Connect 4. For those of you who had childhoods, you should know what I'm talking about. But in the Survivor version, you shoot coconuts at a board and you have to connect 5 in a row, not 4 in a row. So the women show that they actually know how to handle their coconuts and they win the challenge. And in doing so, they win themselves a tarp, which is actually a reward for me. Because now I don't have to hear them bitch and moan about getting rained on. So after the challenge, we check in with the guys' tribe, and it turns out that Leif and Bill are sitting on the beach talking to each other. And this is when we find out that Leif is short on common sense. He tells Bill that he was next on the chopping block. So this information gets back to Colton, and he's not happy about it at all. So there's going to be hell to pay, but it's just going to have to wait because it's time for the immunity challenge. So the immunity challenge involves 4 stages. There's 3 puzzle stages and 1 unlocking session. And there's 2 things I walk away from this challenge knowing. Number 1, Chelsea, apparently not so good with logs, which is disappointing, but on the plus side, that's something you can learn. So apparently there's an unwritten rule somewhere in Survivor One World that a team can't win more than 3 challenges in a row because the guys win this one. So the victorious Monano tribe can go back to camp, kick back, and not have to worry about voting anybody out for another 3 days. Or can they? It appears that Colton is still so pissed off at Bill and Leif that he wants to trade places with the girls and go to tribal council that night. What? Yes, yes, yes. What's up is down, what's down is up, what's left is right, and vice versa, because we've entered a bizarro world. Which brings me to this week's episode of This Week in Smart, featuring Kat. Kat says, the men have lost their marbles, and I can't agree more. So the guys take a vote, and they decide collectively to give up immunity that night and go to tribal council. Tarzan says that Leif's betrayal was egregious and it had to be dealt with that night at tribal council. Now, if you're not familiar with the term egregious, I'm your human dictionary. Let me help you out. You see, the use of commercial breaks on the CBS.com Survivor clips is egregious and somewhat abusive.
So anyway, Jay doesn't like this cockamamie scheme, but he goes along with it because he's got no stroke in this game. Jay's like, I'm completely bum-puzzled. But dang-a-dang. Jay, I don't even know what that means, but I'm with you.
So for the first time in Survivor history, the winning tribe goes to tribal council to vote out one of their own. So it's between Bill and Leif. So during this unnecessary tribal council, we find out three things. Number one, Tarzan sees no color, and that would explain his choice in shirts. Number two, Colton is probably one of the biggest villains in Survivor history. And number three, Bill is a struggling stand-up comic. And I've seen some of his stuff, and unfortunately I have to say I see a lot of struggles in his future. And since you're watching my recap show, I'll give you a fourth thing to learn from this tribal council. When you're standing on the perineum of life, there's only two places you can go. You can go straight on to the promised land, or you can fall back into the dark cave of oblivion. And unfortunately for Bill, there's no promised land in his future. So as Jeff snuffed Bill's torch, instead of saying, the tribe has spoken, he said, what's your tribe smoking? Well, he didn't really say that, but he should have. So what happens next week on Survivor? Well, just when you think you have it all figured out, a tribe swap happens. Should make things really interesting. So that's all I got. So right now what you need to do is hit the subscribe button right up here. You need to follow me on Twitter at SurvivorTrev. And if you want to play the word game, put your word in the comments down below or just tweet it to me. Now, if you don't know what the word game is, basically you guys submit a word to me and I incorporate it into the show. Now keep in mind, I only can use one word per week, so I can't make everybody happy, so make it good. So that's all I got for you. I'll see you next time.